3 years ago, I lost everything. Not because I made a terrible business decision, not because I wasn't working hard. Some simple routine maintenance turned into an 8-month nightmare that destroyed my trucking business and my bank account. I watched my savings disappear 1 month at a time, and there was nothing I could do about it. But today, I'm finally starting over, and this is the story. So, for you to understand why I'm starting over, I got to take you back a few years. I had just moving back from England. I was living there for about 3 years, and I had sold out of a coffee shop chain that I had. I had about 4 stores, and I had to sell them. And I moved back to the States, and I assumed that getting back into trucking, you know, because I've been driving over 15 years, would be easy. Well, it wasn't. No company would hire me because I hadn't driven in 3 years, and they're acting like, you know, I'm brand new to the trucking industry and insurance purposes. I get it, these bigger carriers. I decided that building my own trucking company would be the least barrier to entry. I was sitting on a load of money, and upon doing my research, I realized that getting approved for a semi loan was literally no good, because I hadn't had any, you know, paper income, and the financing was totally different. But going into Hotshot, buying a pickup truck and a trailer was a lot easier, so I decided to just do that. So I bought a Ram 3500. It was a 2021. It only had 50,000 miles on it. It was in good shape, had the bed on it, wasn't a chassis like this one was. And I found a 40-foot PJ flatbed trailer with air ride in Missouri for a good price. So I went out to get that. Come to find out, the guy that was selling the trailer was a former Hotshot driver, and he was a dispatcher for a company out of Kansas City, and they were willing to lease me on. I leased on with those guys, and things started off pretty fast. The first month was really good. I grossed over 20 grand, and I kept more than about half of that in profit for the business. So I was, you know, pretty stoked at that point. And then that's where things started going terribly wrong. So I did my weekend reset in Fargo, North Dakota, and what should have been an extremely routine thing ended up costing me a lot of money. I put over 15,000 miles on the truck the first month, so it needed an oil change, right? So I go, not being mechanically inclined at the time, I decide to just go to Valvoline Instant Oil Change and let them do my oil. I had the little screw thing that helps get out the oil filter. So I gave that to them. They changed my oil. Everything was fine. So I go from Fargo, North Dakota down to Kansas City, and in between that journey, I stop and get some fuel, and I notice a ticking coming from underneath the truck. Come to find out, this is what they call a typewriter tick. Now, the tick was coming from kind of around the oil pan, right underneath the oil pan, really. And it was like a intermittent tick. It wasn't like rhythmic, it was random. And when I drove, the tick got louder. So anyways, I didn't think nothing of it because the truck was running completely fine. About 1,000 miles down the road, I'm almost to Kansas City. I get a check engine light. So I bring the truck to the nearest AutoZone because I didn't have a reader at the time. And they read the code and tell me that I got a misfire in cylinder 3. Either cylinder 3 or cylinder 6, I can't remember. But I do some research, and I decide that I'm going to change my fuel filter. So I go to AutoZone. I get some Wix fuel filters. I changed the fuel filter on the back frame and the fuel filter underneath the engine, or in the engine bay. All right, everything's good. Set off the next day, and I'm going up a hill, pulling the load I got, and the truck starts stuttering, misfiring, and starts running bad. So I tell the dispatcher, I said, I gotta go to New York. I gotta go home. Truck's running bad. I'm, you know, 2,000 miles away from home. You know, I can't be in a hotel out here waiting, blah, 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 blah. So anyways, I get a load from Kansas City to Brooklyn, and I get back to New York. So first dealership that can get me in, and they take a look at it. Truck's under warranty, and they go through it, and they call me and pretty much tell me that the Fuel filter that was on the under the frame in the back of the truck had disintegrated. The paper from the fuel filter had gone through the fuel lines, clogged up everything, and I needed an entire new fuel system. And it wasn't going to be covered under warranty because I used an aftermarket oil filter. I used a Wex oil filter, right? So they found that the fuel pressure didn't match. They're telling me I need a new injector pump and all this stuff. Now, this is all after I had already had the cylinder misfires. So I do some research at the house and realize that the back filter, if it went through the fuel lines, it would have got caught by the front filter. So they're blowing smoke up my ass. They're just dealing with something totally unrelated to what I brought the truck for in the first place, right? I have to pay them like $600 to put new fuel filters in, and then I get the truck out of there because they don't know what they're talking about. And I find a new mechanic not far from the house, and I bring it to them. Now the check engine light's cleared at this point. I don't know why. Maybe the dealership cleared it. Maybe it cleared on its own. So I bring it up there and they take a look at it and they're like, yup. They're like, we think it's your cylinder 3 injector and we can do the work. They're like, however, warranty's not going to cover it without the check engine light on. They're like, so we'll give you the truck back, drive it around until the check engine light comes back on, and then you can bring it back in. So I take this truck, and I mean, I'm driving around for friggin' days, ripping on it, and it's stuttering, misfiring. I mean, who knows the type of damage I did to this thing in that time. Finally get the check engine light to come back on, so I go back to that dealership, and I'm like, the check engine light's back on, can we get this thing fixed? And they tell me, oh, well, we don't have a heavy-duty truck lift that can get this truck onto to fix it. So we can't do the work because we don't have a lift. So I'm like, oh, so you guys pretty much just lied to me and wasted my goddamn time. So I get the truck out of there, and I'm going on like 2 weeks now that I've been down, and insurance is coming out, bills are coming, but the money's not coming in, right? So I find another repair shop about an hour from my house, and I bring it out there. They're like, we can get you in, bring it in. They pretty much tell me after a week of looking at it that they know what it is. It's my hydraulic lifters, but we can't get to it for another couple of weeks, and the parts are on back order. So I'm like, whatever, at least they know what it is. It's covered under warranty. I get it fixed. Cool. So I don't get a job in the meantime because I'm thinking I'm going to be back on the road. And we're going on a month now that this thing's been down. Good. So almost another month goes by. They finally get this truck in for the repairs. And the repairs take damn near a month. Damn near a month for them to sort it out. Where the hell am I going to put this thing? But anyways, I get the truck in for the repairs, right? It takes them another 2 or 3 weeks to fix the thing. I go to pick it up, and in this time frame, Ram Care is literally just non-existent. Like, they gave me maybe, I think, 7 days worth of a rental, and I'd been down almost a month and a half just at this dealership. So I go and get the truck. When I get in it, fire it up, coolant lights on, right? Low coolant. I go to the store, put some coolant in there, and on the way home it regens, and I got like white smoke like coming through the vents, white regen smoke coming through the hood of the truck. I could smell it. It's disgusting. So I spend the next couple weeks trying to figure that out. I'm going through the EGR, checking all the gaskets, and I finally found a loose gasket on the EGR cooler by the EGR valve. So got some new gaskets, fixed that, right? And worked out a deal with the guy that I was leased onto where he'd give me 24-hour factoring, because by this point I'm down to my last $10,000. It's been 3-4 months since the truck first went into an initial shop, and I'm pretty much telling him I don't have the money to go back out. Like, if anything happens, I'm gonna be out in the street. I got a wife and 3 kids. He's like, we'll give you 24-hour factoring. Cool. So head back out. All right, get a load out of Pennsylvania, coming up over the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania, and the truck starts just shuddering again. Same thing it was doing before. However, this time, no check engine lights. It's just losing power, shuddering. So I make it down to Tennessee with this load. I deliver it because I got no other choice, and tell the dispatcher, listen, I got to go back home. Truck's still messed up, right? So bring it back up to New York. I bring it into the same shop that did the repair. It sits there for another 2 months while they work with Star, which is Ram's like Cummins technicians that, you know, they specialize in things that are wrong with these trucks, and they, you know, that they can't really figure out. That haven't happened yet. I don't know. It's some special team. Wally's Dodge in Amsterdam can't figure it out, and I finally, bro, I've had enough. It's been like 6 months. I call him up and I say, listen, either I come get that truck, or you fix it, or I beat everybody in the mechanic shop up. I'm literally threatening them with violence at this point. So they're like, you can either get arrested or you can come get your truck. So I go, I get the truck. I find one more repair shop in Latham, New York, and they end up being absolutely incredible. I wish I had brought it there to begin with. But anyways, I bring the truck in there, and they're like, listen, you're gonna have to, you know, bear with us a little bit. We're getting a truck with no check engine light on. We're working behind other mechanics. We have no idea what they did. So give us some time to figure it out. So they call me a week and a half later. My turbo's shot. My transmission needs to be replaced. Torque converter's bad. And then they call the prior dealership, and after fighting with them, they realized that they let a non-diesel mechanic rebuild the engine after the rocker repair. So I'm gonna play the video right now from what they found in the truck.
All right, my name is Justin. Just wanted to give you an update on your truck. We did have a recommendation from our Star Center, but upon taking it apart to do the work, we do have the valve cover off here, as you can see. And I did find that the cylinder 2 injector nut was loose right here. So I went ahead and I tightened that down, and we were gonna road test and see what we could do. And then I happened to look down, and you could see these are the pedestals for your exhaust rocker right here. Then you have these pedestals which go from both sides of the springs. This dot right here is supposed to be on the inside of every pedestal, and it looks to me like there's a few of them that weren't. And then as you can see, this right here is your intake rocker on cylinder 2. The rocker pedestal, as you can see, it's not even on the inside of the rocker right here, so therefore it's not making good contact. So that could be 100% what the issue is, but we'd have to tear it apart to look further into it. And as you can see, we'll have to fix all of this and make sure this is all right. And then we'll have to check the condition of the push rods and make sure everything else is good inside the engine, and then we'll go from there.
So basically, the guy put the truck back together backwards. All right. So I'm reviewing all my paperwork in the meantime, and I learn about this, you know, these hydraulic lifter issues in these trucks and the oil starvation issue. And I go and I look at the oil change that I got in Fargo, and because it's up north and it's a cold climate up there, they put 15 W40 in my engine. And maybe 1,000 miles after that oil change is when that tick happened. So I think that, you know, I don't know what the guy was running in it before, but I imagine that that oil change, you know, the thicker oil is probably what finished off my lifters. And since then I've ran nothing but 5W40 in my engines. Nothing but 5W40 Schaefer's or the Shell Rotella. If you do anything else in those 21s, 22s, 23s, you're gonna have lifter issues. And if you don't, you're lucky. So that oil change, not doing it myself, not doing a little bit of research about the truck, ended up costing me a year in absolute stress, and 3 years in trying to dig myself out of the hole. So some advice I can give you: make sure you research what you're buying, have some type of mechanical knowledge. Don't just rely on these mechanics and these dealerships, because they will absolutely take advantage of you and could put you in an absolute terrible position. And Ram, now owned by Stellantis and European company, they're not going to be there for you either. And we're going on almost 9 months now that I haven't had the vehicle. I'm working a full-time job, just trying to stay ahead of myself. I got like no money in my savings account. I'm literally down to like my last $1,000. You know, I'm with the debt I took on to start the business, working a job that paid like $100,000 a year. I might have like $200 left over. And that's if I'm working like 60 hours. So I am in a bad position, real bad position. I get the truck back and I'm like, no, I'm not going out again. The transmission was weird. I didn't trust it. So I literally just slaved for like 6 months. I got some tax returns back. I paid off the negative equity on the truck on a buyback. They bought it off me, got rid of it. So got rid of that. Now I had some freed up money monthly to put on all the other debt, the trailer loan that I had. And it took me 2 years to pay off all the debt I incurred. And because I'm the type of guy that needs to learn from my mistakes more than once, here I am again. I've held such a grudge on what happened that I told myself I would give it one more try. So I just concluded my first week back in Hotshot trucking under my own authority this time. Brand new truck, so I know I can do the maintenance from the get-go. Brand new trailer, my company, what I say goes. So if you're struggling out there, if you're going through a tough time, just know that sometimes, man, it just takes a little bit of hard work and some time to get yourself back in a position where you can do good things. I'm praying that this all goes well. And for me, sooner or later, the world's going to get out of my way. The world's going to get out of my way and let me do what I need to do. So, welcome to the channel. This is the restart of my hotshot journey. I hope you guys follow along with me. We'll see what happens. And like the Stoics say, sometimes the obstacle is the way. So like, subscribe, and get ready, because we got some trucking to do.